We want to make sure this is properly set up. The vehicle's in 4-low, hill descent is on. We moved it over to sand mud mode, and that again raises the air suspension about 1.3 inches, gets the ground clearance just below 10 inches. We've also removed the lower front air dam. That's a removable feature, and the nice thing about that, for any sort of approach angles, you don't have to be scraping the fascia. So what we're going to do now is just take the vehicle. Again, this is our Quadra-Track 2 4x4 system with the V6 engine. This will provide significant torque transfer to the rear axle when needed, and you'll see some examples here as we're driving up the grade. And this is a good little maneuver coming up right here, because this will really show you the torque transfer to the rear differential. You can really feel the torque moving to the rear wheel, specifically to the one in the best traction. And again, with the extra ground clearance, you're not scraping the underneath of the underbody. And we've actually kept it in off-road 1 for this maneuver. Off-road 2 can be used in, let's say, more aggressive maneuvers where you really need the ground clearance. So in this case, we're now going to really demonstrate the torque transfer onto the rear differential. Now notice how the torque was going back and forth between the rear wheels as we're pushing out some of those ruts. It's pretty seamless. Specifically, as long as you have that, if you get torque where you really need it, you can get through most of these obstacles. And all you really need to do is steer and just kind of work the gas a little bit. Okay, now in hill descent control, in this case, it either goes on automatically in rock mode, or you can turn it on manually in any other modes. When hill descent's on, you can then use the shifter just to adjust the speed. Moving it down to first gear, that will control your descent at exactly 1 mile per hour. Interacts with all the ABS systems and brake and engine, and just make sure your speed, regardless of what grade you're on, is maintained right about 1. When you go to second gear, you get about 3 miles per hour. Third gear, somewhere between 5 and 6. So I'll start this right now in second, and what that will allow the vehicle to do is just essentially take my foot off the brake and the accelerator, and all I have to do is steer. So right now we're in second gear. The vehicle's going between 2 and 2.5, 3 miles an hour, and all we're doing is steering. It's about a 30-degree grade, and then it'll pick up to about 45 degrees further up. So if we want to go back to 1, it'll essentially slow the vehicle down to about 1 mile per hour. And the good news is I can put my foot on the brake and doesn't turn off hill descent control. But on the accelerator to override it, that's fine. The vehicle is always in control. I can move it to third gear, go a little faster based on the grade we're on. And we have a little steeper grade up here that will really demonstrate how well the vehicle holds on hill. It's a really good grade to demonstrate the hill descent feature. It's about a 50-degree slope downhill with a lot of sand ruts, and again, we're in hill descent. We're going to keep it in off-road 1 position just for some of the ruts, and we're going to start out in 1. And 1 again, first gear. This keeps the vehicle really slow and controlled, about 1 mile per hour. You can feel the ABS system going. All you need to do is foot off the brake and accelerator and just steer. If you want to go just a little bit more, normally I would take this in about a 2 gear. That goes about 3 miles an hour, 2 to 3 miles an hour, and all you have to do is you don't do anything but steer the vehicle. It controls itself. The brakes are constantly working. So in case you're going through a rut, you can feel the transfer of braking back and forth between the front and rear corners. Back to the second gear. I said the nice thing is you can always put your foot on the brake if you want to stop the vehicle. You can always downshift or upshift depending on what speed you're comfortable with and what kind of grade you're specifically on. But it really goes down the bottom of the hill, and there's a lot of ruts, a lot of sand. All you do is specifically just turn. I can move it to 3 if you want a little more speed just to manage, or you can go back down to 2, depending on exactly what kind of level of comfort you are going down a descent. So if you looked in front of us, you'd see it's pretty much a deep sand, about 4 or 5 inches of sand and dirt all mixed together. but you hear the braking constantly working, just maintain the control of the vehicle. It gives you a real high level of confidence, because any of these really steep hills, whether it be rock, sand, mud, you just use hill descent and just control yourself down to the next obstacle. Okay, now that we've had a chance to do some of the trails, we'll go on the road and really do some of the curves with the new Grand Cherokee. First thing we're going to do, put it in neutral, and then push the 4 low button, take it out of 4 low. We're going to turn it back to auto, the air suspension down to normal ride height. And that'll again lower vehicles down so it's about 8.1 inches. So now we're in auto mode. As you can see, the air suspension going down. Now we're at normal ride height. One light there. It says also on the cluster. Now we're going to take the vehicle out and we'll do some curves. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to put it in sport mode and lower it down even a little more. So we have a good road up here. It has a lot of curves, a lot of twists and bends, and you'll have a chance to really experience a couple things in the new Grand Cherokee. One is the all-new suspension, both the front independent short long arm and the rear multi-link, how it's isolated from the body, and how it was set up by our chassis and dynamics team to really give the cornering experience of a very luxury SUV. Second thing you'll notice is the isolation. All the work that between the interior and the body and teams have done, and the chassis teams, to really isolate the vehicle from the road noise. So again, from the engine compartment and underbody, it's really a triple ceiling type of approach. The third thing you'll really notice is the stiffness of the body and how it corners into each of the corners, maintains its stability, its structure, its stiffness, and really makes sure the suspension does all the work. And this is powered by our new Pentastar V6. So we're going to take it some turns here and get a chance to show how the vehicle really handles. And you saw it off-road, and now it's really impressive on-road.